Congressman John R. Lewis. You came of age during the seminal years of the civil rights struggle, sitting down at barred lunch counters, joining the Freedom Riders on segregated buses, leading more than 600 peaceful protesters for voting rights from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, on what became known as Bloody Sunday. As president of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, helping to organize the March on Washington for Freedom and Jobs. Your body was molded and your mind was shaped by that transformative era. Arrested numerous times for civil disobedience, your young life was emblematic of the philosophy of nonviolence and the demand for respect for all individuals that emanated from Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks and others who came before. Today, as the conscience of the Congress, representing the 5th Congressional District in Georgia, you are the symbol of dignity and courage. For serving as transformative figure in the cause of civil rights, for lending your indomitable spirit to the discipline and the philosophy of nonviolence, and for championing equal rights for all human beings, a fulfillment of the potential of society that will prefigure our evolution into the beloved community, a nation at peace with itself.
In accordance with the laws of the State of New York, upon the recommendation of the faculty with the approval of the Board of Trustees, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, I proudly confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws, and we invest you with the hood signifying this degree.
Good morning. Oh, good morning.
That'll wake me up.
This is your day. Enjoy it. President Jackson, Chair of the Board, members of the Board of Trustees, members of the Cabinet, distinguished faculty members, parents, family, and friends, my fellow honorees, and to the class of 2013, thank you for this great honor. I accept this honor on behalf of countless individuals, those who stood in unmovable lines, those who were arrested and jailed and beaten, those who made the supreme sacrifice, those who gave just a little blood. My friend, my colleague, and brother, Congressman Paul Tacano. Thank you, Paul, for being here. You know, I feel more than lucky. I feel very blessed to be here. To be here at RPI, beautiful campus, beautiful place. Thank you for having me. To each and every one of you who are receiving a degree today, congratulations. I must tell you, you don't have anything to worry about. I'm going to be very brief. Today is your day, and you should enjoy it. I just want to take a moment to talk to you about your history of struggle in this year, when we celebrate, as Dr. Jackson stated so well, the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington, the 150th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. Most of you, you're so young, you're so beautiful, you're so handsome, you were not even born. You were not even a dream when the March on Washington took place 50 years ago. But But that march was a turning point in American history that we need to understand. The call for equal justice that came forth that March still has not been fully answered. The time may come again when people of goodwill will have to join together to bear back the forces of injustice, using the power and persistent or nonviolent social change. When Martin Luther King Jr., this very young man, stood on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and transformed those marble steps into a modern-day pulpit. He said, I have a dream today, a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I know you too have a dream. And you must never, ever give up on your dream. Dr. King had been inspired by Gandhi, by Thoreau, by many others, and he was speaking truth to power. Here in America today, we need to speak truth to power. When I was growing up in rural Alabama, 50 miles outside of Montgomery, a little place called Troy, not Troy, New York, but Troy, Alabama. I used to raise chickens. It was my obligation. And I know as students of technology, you're so smart, you're so gifted, you may know something about Popeye. Notice there's a Popeye, it's not too far from here. You may know something about Bojangles, Kentucky Fried, but you don't know anything about raising chicken. I will not bore you with the story, but I became very good as a young 7.5, 8 years old raising chicken. Take the fresh eggs, mark them with a pencil, place them under the setting hen, and wait for 3 long weeks for the chicks to hatch. Some of you smart and gifted professors, students, you're not saying, John Lewis, why do you mark those fresh eggs with a pencil before you place them under the setting hen? Well, from time to time, another hen may get on that same nest, and there would be some more fresh eggs, and you have to be able to tell the fresh eggs from the eggs that were already under the setting hen. Do you follow me? I would fool these setting hen. I would take these little chicks and put them on a box with a lantern, raise them on their own, get some more fresh eggs, mark them with a pencil, and place them under the setting hen. Encourage the setting hen to stay on the nest for another 3 weeks. I just give the little chicks to another hen. I kept on cheating on this setting hen. When I look back on it, it was not the right thing to do. It was not the moral thing to do. It was not the most loving thing to do. It was not the most non-violent thing to do. I was never quite able to save $18.98 to order the most inexpensive hatcher or incubator from the Sizzle Roebuck store. Now, as students, you're too young to remember the Sizzle Roebuck catalog. Maybe some of your professors, maybe your parents or grandparents. Big book. Some people call it the ordering book. Other people call it the wish book. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. I just kept on wishing. As a little boy, I wanted to be a minister. So from time to time, to help with my brothers and sisters and my cousins, we would gather all of our chickens together in the chicken yard. And my brothers and sisters would line the outside of the chicken yard. But the chicken helped make up the audience, the congregation. And I was going speaking and preaching. When I look back on it, some of these chickens would bow their heads. Some of these chickens would shake their heads. Everyone might say amen. But I'm convinced that some of those chickens that I preached to in the 40s and the 50s tended to listen to me much better than some of my colleagues listen to me today in the Congress. As a matter of fact, some of those chickens are just a little more productive. Now that's enough of that. We have witnessed in our country during the past 50 years what I like to call a nonviolent revolution. A revolution of values, a revolution of ideas. The signs that I saw when I was growing up that said white men, white women, colored women, white waiting, those signs are gone. And as young people, you travel in the American South today, or travel through Washington, D.C., and visit our museums, visit our library. The only place you will see those signs would be in a museum, in a book, on a video. So when someone tells me that nothing has changed, I say, come and walk in my shoes. In 1961, the same year that President Barack Obama was born, black people and white people couldn't board a Greyhound bus, a Trailway bus, leaving Washington, D.C. to travel through Virginia, through North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, on our way to New Orleans without the possibility of being arrested or jailed. But with the help of Attorney General Robert Kennedy, President Kennedy, Intrastate Commission, those signs came to be. We live in a time, in a place where we must move the speed to create a beloved community, to create a community at peace with itself. And we must never, ever give up. We must keep the faith. Keep our eyes on the prize. Hold on to our dreams. I'll tell you one little story. I'll be finished. When I was growing up outside of Troy, Alabama, I had an aunt by the name of Seneva. And my aunt Seneva lived in what we call a shotgun house. I know here at this great institution, you never seen a shotgun house. You don't even know what I'm talking about. My aunt Seneva didn't have a green manicure lawn. Had a simple plain dead yard. And sometime at night, you could look up to the holes in the ceiling, and the holes in the tin roof, and come to stars. When it would rain, she would get a pail, a bucket, or a tub, and catch the rainwater. From time to time, she would walk out into the woods and cut branches from a dogwood tree and make a broom, and she called that broom the brush broom. And she would sweep the street yard very clean, sometimes 2 and 3 times a week, especially on a Friday or Saturday, because she wanted the backyard to look very good during the weekend. For those of you that are about to graduate, like to get that degree, let me tell you what the shotgun house looks like in the nonviolent sense. An old house, one way in, one way out, where you can bounce a basketball through the front door, and it will go straight out the back. But one Saturday afternoon, a group of my brothers and sisters and a few of my first cousins, well, I played in my Aunt Seneva dead yard, and an unbelievable storm came up. The wind started blowing. The thunder started rolling. The lightning started flashing. And the rain started beating on the tin roof of this old shotgun house. My aunt became terrified. She started crying. She got all of us little children together and told us to hold hands. And we did as we were told. Then one corner of this old house appeared to be lifted from its foundation. My aunt had us come up to that corner of the house and try to hold the little house. When the other corner appeared to be lifted, she had us come up to that side. We were little children walking with the wind, but we never left the house. I said to you, as you leave this institution, the wind may blow, the thunder may roll, and the lightning may flash, and the rain may beat on our old house. Call it the house of New York. Call it the house of Georgia. Call it the house of Alabama. Call it the American house. Call it the world house. We all live in the same house. Maybe, just maybe, our forefathers and our foremothers all all came to this great land in different ships, but we all in the same boat. It doesn't matter whether we're black or white, Latino, Asian American, or Native American. It doesn't matter whether we're straight or gay. We're one people. We're one family. We're one house. Stay with the house. Walk with the wind. And let the Spirit rest be your God. Thank you very much.
Amen. Right. Amen. That was good. That's a church clap. Look at it.